We off the grid. What's poppin', people? It's Dante here along the Schuylkill River in Philadelphia. Yeah, we're off the grid today, baby, and thinking about courage. Courage in Latin, coming from the word cur, that means heart. Courage as heart. Yeah, courage as heart. Yeah, I think that's an interesting way to consider it, right? Heart. Right, so look at the etymology and study the etymology of words. You can really learn more about the meaning of things. It seems that this is a really good way to use ChatGPT, for instance. Just kind of type in, like, what is the meaning and etymology of word? And yeah, you can find out more and learn, actually. So yeah, courage meaning heart, bravery, right? Steadfastness, boldness. You know, these qualities, I believe, are critical when it comes to even just practicing street photography, right? Where for myself, you know, courage and curiosity are at the forefront of the process. And, you know, I believe, just generally speaking here, street photography being this practice of making candid photos of strangers, you know, it requires this sort of boldness to actually do the thing itself. You know, what are some of the common things that people struggle with when it comes to practicing street photography? Yeah, it seems that overcoming the fear of the practice itself, right? The fear of confrontation, the fear of rejection, the fear of photographing strangers is actually the first thing that seems to sort of be in the way of progress. And so yeah, some practical sort of solutions to overcoming courage. You know, embrace confrontation. Firstly, I actually believe every photographer should purchase an Instax or Polaroid camera and sort of just make portraits of strangers, give the prints to people, sort of share the joy of photography, and yeah, sort of overcome fear of confrontation through this beautiful act of giving. And I think this is a really great way to sort of break the ice if you're getting into street photography. That way you realize that you know, maybe some people will say no, right? And it's good if they say no, because then you can get comfortable with people saying no, or get comfortable with confrontation, rejection, and things like this. But yeah, that's a practical sort of solution that I believe is wise. You know, any solutions I find, I would love to share with others, because, you know, these simple tips have actually helped me along the way, right? So courage and curiosity, right? To follow your curiosity, your intuition, and with courage at the forefront. I mean, you know, to be bold is, I believe, a quality that we should aspire to possess as artists, to sort of attempt the impossible, or actually perhaps to attempt, you know, maybe the attempt is more important than the outcome. You know, to actually attempt the thing, right? How much chutzpah do you have to attempt the thing itself, right? The Yiddish word. You know, I think about my time spent in Jerusalem, right? I studied in Hebrew University for 6 months, for a semester, and I made a friend, Matthew. Shout out to Matthew, the only other real one that has the crazy courage like me. And yeah, he had this bold idea. You know, we traveled throughout all the different Palestinian cities. He had this bold idea to visit an IDF base, an Israeli Defense Force base, where it was along the border of Gaza, and they had some sort of like mini Gaza, some sort of like, I don't know, like plastic homes, like plastic mosque, maybe just built of wood, like a shell of homes sort of scattered throughout their base so that they could practice sort of their invasions in Gaza. And yeah, we had this idea to actually go there and photograph that, because yeah, it just seemed interesting, and we also wanted to enter Gaza. So yeah, we went to the literal like front of the Israeli Defense Force base, consulting with the guard, you know, can we get in? You know, we're students, we just wanted to make some photos. And they were actually almost letting us in for a minute, because we were standing out there for like 30 minutes, you know, showing our ID, like how we're like, you know, American Canadians, kind of just like studying at Hebrew University, or photographers, whatever. But at the end of the day, they couldn't allow us in because they were practicing with their sort of like military dogs or something. They were doing some sort of like practice within the mini Gaza. So beautiful and foggy today. Yeah, so alas, we weren't allowed to get in because of that. So we took a taxi or something, like maybe even like, yeah, we just like hitchhiked basically, like some random dude's car, and we went to the border of Gaza, tried to get into Gaza, couldn't get into Gaza, right? We weren't allowed in because you need some sort of press pass, and alas, we took our selves back to Jerusalem, and you know, we were able to see what it's like along the border of Gaza. I found it to be intriguing to observe the military strength and power as you get closer. You know, they have larger rifles the closer you get to Gaza, bigger grenade launcher attachments, tanks, and, you know, just a much heavier presence of military force the closer you get to Gaza. And so, yeah, the attempt was bold, the attempt was courageous, and the outcome, you know, maybe wasn't as important, but the fact that we, you know, sort of went with this intention, I believe, is what it's all about when it comes to courage, right? Even considering the first time I decided to step foot into Camp Shafat in East Jerusalem, this Palestinian refugee camp surrounded by the wall. You know, this is where I believe to maybe actually disconnect from news and not really, I mean, I believe in this notion truly of entering a place without preconceived notions. But I remember when I Googled, you know, being in university, 20 years old, Googled, you know, Camp Shafat, whatever, because I was curious about it. And as soon as you go to Google Images, you see all the images. It's like conflict, battle, it doesn't look so safe. And, you know, everyone in class or the teachers, professors say, oh, don't go there, you know. And alas, I went there, because if you go to YouTube and type in Team Sesh, you will know that we are the kings of the underground. And so, you know, after seeing these images on Google, whatever, and like being kind of like a little bit psyched out, kind of like nervous because of it, yeah, after actually attempting the thing and going into this place, meeting people, you know, I was pleasantly surprised, right? You kind of recognize that, you know, you can't trust the media, actually. You can't really trust the headlines and the sort of stuff that's propagated on the news as much as you would like to believe, because actually when you go in there, you know, there's a lot of nice people. I actually found that the falafel sandwich in this refugee camp was 10 times better than the sandwich that you could get in the Shuk, right? In the Mahane Yehuda market. This was a better falafel sandwich. And you had to like risk yourself. Like you have to go through this gate, sort of like take things out of your pockets, whatever, show your passport to then be allowed into Shafat. And I remember one of the first men that we met, this young man, one of his, like he was like, you know, speaking with us, showing us his home, his family, like one of the first days actually we entered this new place. And this young Palestinian boy, he took us to the top of his home to look out towards Shafat, explaining his sort of situation living there. And one of his, you know, passions or his job is he goes to the hospital in Jerusalem and dresses up as a clown to entertain kids that are, you know, sick and perhaps have cancer. It was just like the sweetest boy, and he was like, you know, explaining his sort of life, and I mean, really what's amazing about travel, and like I feel like everyone should travel, is it gives you a new perspective on things where, you know, we're all human, right? Like we all have our stories, we all have our unique perspectives on things, and I believe that, you know, to sort of crush the preconceived notions is so important when traveling. So, you know, to just go in with an open and curious mind, yeah, I find this is wise. And so, yeah, the outcome of that was I wound up making one of my strongest photographs of the wall. I made a picture of this boy throwing a baby stroller up against the wall, sort of just intuitively making the composition, really not even thinking about it. I had like that split-second moment where he just randomly decided to do this thing. And you know, there's this looming shadow, there's this sort of like, you know, metaphor in a way, there's this sort of like punctum to the photograph itself, you know. And I find it to be a beautiful thing when you make the attempt and the outcome itself, through your courage, through your audacity, through your chutzpah, becomes this beautiful work of art. And perhaps the more courage one exudes, the better the art will become. So seriously consider courage, right? Even sharing your thoughts, right? Like, look, I'm sharing my thoughts. I'm putting the GoPro really close to my mouth. I didn't take a shower this morning. You know, I have to shave tomorrow. It's like, to have courage is also to have confidence and to actually sort of put yourself out there maybe as well, right? To sort of speak up, to not censor yourself, to be bold, to be maybe a little bit crazy. And yeah, I think that's my little story, I guess, about courage. I mean, I have this lust for battle where I have the blood of Achilles rushing through my veins, and oh man, the fog looks so nice. The aesthetics, the sublime aesthetics looks unreal. You know, photographing in high contrast black and white, it suits itself very well in all conditions, but specifically in these conditions, I mean, it's just so much more powerful perhaps. And you know, maybe even the act of, you know, completely changing my process, right? Where I'm shooting with my compact camera here, Ricoh GR3, high contrast black and white, small JPEGs, everything straight out of camera, you know, no cropping, no processing, sort of just getting the picture in camera. Actually, it takes this sort of courage and yeah, chutzpah to actually do something anew, to sort of switch the process up, to even have the courage to just get it out of the camera, where like I'm no longer dependent on like a raw file, where perhaps actually photographing with raw files, it's almost like training wheels in a way, because you have so much more leeway, you can kind of adjust the file as you wish. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I'm just kind of chopping it up and speaking from my heart here, where yeah, actually it's maybe more difficult to get a successful photograph with a small JPEG file straight out of camera this way. You know, the more limitations. But actually, wow, I mean, look at Washington. You can't see it from this far away, but the sculpture just looks so nice. You know, I was able to attempt this new process in Rome this year, and man, I don't know what it was, but I woke up this morning, I'm like, why am I not in Jerusalem right now? Like, I want to be in Jerusalem and photographing in like a new place somewhere where I'm on the edge. Like, I just have this lust for battle in a way where, like, not actually battle, but like metaphorically, where it's like I thrive in the chaos and the unknown. And like just walking around my home here in Philadelphia, it's like a little jolly walk in the park, you know. I'm kind of just like going about my business, but like I miss being in like a bustling market and like surrounded by chaos. Essentially, it's like there's something about that in me where I just thrive. You know, I think the morning it's cool, he's got a lighting thingy. What is that? Is that for water? What is the light? Maybe it's just a light because it's dark out. That's actually pretty sick. Staying safe. You know, one of the greatest things in life, it seems, is travel. No problem. Good morning. It's nice today, man. People are biking. I'm gonna go for a bike ride. This is inspiring me to go for a bike ride. But yeah, travel seems to be really wise. If you're in university, if you're a college student, like one of the greatest things that you can do after college is just join the Peace Corps. Like, I can't speak highly of this enough. The Peace Corps was probably one of my greatest experiences to actually live in a new place for a year. You know, there was supposed to be 2 years, but COVID had us evacuated. You know, you get to learn the local language of a place. I was living in Zambia, Africa. I was with the Ichibemba tribe. I learned Ichibemba. I worked in the fish ponds. I wish I was back there right now, under the stars, sleeping under a mosquito net, where you go to bed and all you hear are birds chirping, bugs humming, and all sorts of shit. Like, you don't know what's rustling in the bushes. It's kind of exciting. You know, it's exciting to be in a place where maybe it's a little bit dangerous in a way. And that's why Jerusalem's been on my mind. Like, I'm going back, baby. Like, there's no way I'm not, because with my newfound process, it's just motivating me, inspiring me to see anew and to do new things, and to sort of set goals and sort of destinations, and to have them in the back of your mind is perhaps a good thing. You know, to continue photographing and just following your intuition, like wherever you may be, you know, but not, and I'm not even thinking of, oh, Jerusalem, like this is gonna be some project, some sort of thing. It's merely just like my curiosity and my courage that leads me. It's like some days I just wake up just like, you know, ready to go. Like, I don't, like, it's funny, it's like, it's just how I feel. I've got a lot of built up energy or something. You know, how to increase your courage? Increase your test. Get your test up, get your testosterone up. Yeah, eat more red meat. Fasting all day, no breakfast, no lunch. Yeah, just eat one big massive feast of carnivorous, red, delicious meat every night. And yeah, you'll start to physiologically maybe increase your courage. Maybe it's some hormonal thing. You know, maybe testosterone has something to do with it too. You know, when I was in Jerusalem, I had this awesome gym at the university. I was looking out towards the old city from Mount Scopus. Man, this is an elevated view too, huh? And when I was in Zambia, I bought some wooden rings. Maybe a good Christmas gift for this year. Get yourself a pair of gymnastic rings. I would just throw them up in a tree, you know, in the village, and work on my fitness there. So like, fitness has always been something that I've been into, and it's always been in my daily routine that keeps me courageous and keeps me sort of going. Yeah, more stories to come. I have lots of stories. Maybe I should sort of talk about them more. The flickering light every day. Man, it's so freaking, look, you can't see the skyline today. I'm so glad that I wake up early. Like, I never want to miss another sunrise again, even if it's foggy like this. Like, you never know like what the conditions are gonna be like. Especially in the early mornings, you have this beautiful fog. I mean, it makes me want to like tear up. Like, the sublime beauty of life is unreal. Like, the open world is endless for us to explore. Courage, heart. Yeah, consider it as heart, right? How much heart do you have? How much soul do you have? How much skin do you have in the game? Where I have my body, right? A bag of bones, but with tough skin. And with courage and audacity, you can attempt anything. And I believe this to be a key aspect when it comes to practicing street photography. Courage, heart, bravery. Yeah. Let's try a photo from this angle too, actually. Ooh, it's nice. Increased exposure. Maybe get the pole in the foreground. Nice. The attempt is more important than the outcome. How to increase your courage? Increase your testosterone.